So, dear friends, we're going to start with today's session of Materia Medica, and most important and very useful remedy in our practice. In fact, which is the remedy which gives you a lot and which reflects you many times. That is the Nux Vomica. Because when you get Nux Vomicas in your practice, and in fact, you used to get in your practice off and on, but in early practice, these are the peoples which gives you a confidence because you get instantaneous results with the Nux Vomica. Nux Vomica is very acute in action, and it's a remedy which has many dimensions. Big polycrest from our remedy. I can share a number of cases of Nux Vomica with the different aspects with which I have utilized the Nux Vomica. So, Nux Vomica is the remedy. Before going or entering into the alliance keynotes, I will going to share where I have utilized successfully and in what way. Few cases which I can recollect, and there are many cases I can recollect. First case I want to show you or explain you. He was the young person, nearly about 35 or 32 years of age at that time. It was very early in my practice, very early in fact. He was the patient who was sent to me by one of the general practitioner who used to practice nearby because he was his relative. And second important thing, he had in last 2 years 7 times typhoid. And every time he used to get a fever, he used to get antibiotics, he used to diagnose typhoid, and uh, he got a severe gastritis thereafter. And he was very tall, in fact, nearly about 6.2 or 6.3 height was there, and his weight was only 39 kg. It was it if you look towards him, it looks like a phosphorus by constitution. But he was not phosphorus. And then I took his case, and after whole case study, being a farmer, he never went into the farm, and he used to sit on the desk, used to do only a sedentary life, leading a sedentary life, and wants to do a job. And that's all. That was the thing. And he never got appetite. In fact, he said that after those continuous episodes of typhoid, he lost the appetite. And that's why such a condition is there. So I took whole history and I found this is very close to the nux. He says that whenever I used to take food, it used to burn a lot in my stomach. I want to vomit. I put my fingers inside, but it never comes out. Even something comes out, I used to feel better, but it was very difficult to take it out. And I could not get proper sleep. Whenever I try to sleep, many times whenever I sleep in time, I get the sleep, but I used to get wake up at night 2 or 3 a.m. and thereafter 3 4 hours I could not sleep. And early in the morning I used to get sleep again, and thereafter when I used to wake up, I am absolutely dull, absolutely not ready. And he was telling me all those things, and the person who is nearly about 32 years of age, having 39 weight and very tall person, and suffered from severe gastritis and continuously on antibiotics. So I started him directly on Nux Vomica 30. And I have given Nux Vomica 30 TDS. Asked him to meet me after the 10 days. At that time, I used to give it 3 times a day to start. First 10 days, 3 TDS, then next 15 days BD, then next 1 month OD. This was the way with which I used to prescribe the remedy at that time. So I have given it TDS for 10 days. I asked him to meet me after 10 days. When he came after 10 days, he was so happy that after starting, he said, after starting your medicine, I, I, I felt that I should eat. His appetite improved a lot. And basically, nausea disappeared, the burning disappeared, and he started passing stools very normally. Everything had changed. And when I checked his weight, he was 42. Within 10 days, 39 to 42, 3 kg weight gain was there. He looked quite better. The weakness has disappeared. and he felt more enthusiastic. I continued him on Nux Vomica for a longer time of duration. Now this fellow, it has been nearly about 1995. This case was. Now this fellow who came to me just last month, and now his weight is 90 kg. So he came for treatment of reducing the weight now. So it's a absolutely opposite thing, opposite pole he is at present, but still he is a sedentary worker. In fact, it has changed his constitution. It took nearly about two years, but it has changed completely his constitution. He right from 39 to 60 kg. The weight gain was there within span of 1 year, and that was wonderful. The remedy has worked so beautifully, and then I have complemented it with the sulfur. Because Nux is the remedy which is from acute miasm. Dr. Rajan Sankaran, he has put it under the typhoid miasm, but that is the in-between state, the between acute to sorry. So that in-between state he labeled by the name of typhoid miasm, and he has added that word because early stages of typhoid, Nux is the very good remedy. And what I have seen, whenever patient comes with such types of problems, that after the gastritis, if the patient has a sorry, after the malarial fever, if the patient has gastritis, after the dengue patient has gastritis, after the typhoid the patient has gastritis, the first remedy you must think is the Nux Vomica, and it should be given in repeated doses. Many people give 3 doses, 2 doses of Nux Vomica. Absolutely wrong. Nux is very short in action. In fact, Nux is the remedy which bears the repetition. Nux 30 you can repeat a lot, and even though you have repeated, it will not going to get crude. So nothing to worry about that. Second important thing, that it is given in potentized form, so it will not cause any harm to the patient. Third important thing, Nux Vomica, if you consider that there is a tremendous weakness because of all those things which develop. And that's why if you open the repertory, delusion poor, the Nux Vomica is there. So Nux, if you look with all aspects, sorry, if you find it out, Nux Vomica with all aspects in such types of cases where many allopathic drugs have been used and patient comes to you after that, this is the first remedy you must think about if the Nux is in a Nux state. So we have to understand what is the Nux state. Nux state is that where the patient is sedentary worker who is quite irritable, quite sensitive to every external impression. He cannot tolerate the noise, even least noise of the changing the pages, that noise which is causing the irritability in the person. Nux is the person, very ambitious person, continuously thinking, continuously using the mind, continuously using desktop, continuously using laptop, and he was continuously thinking about his goal and ambition. And that's why this personality, day and night, utilizes their brain in one direction, and at the end of the day, they get exhausted. And at that time, Nux requires a very small sleep. They are happy if they get 5 minutes sleep, 10 minutes sleep. That's called as a nap. And nap is very much needed in with such person. It is very much needed. They want it by any means. And if they get 5 minutes, 10 minutes sleep, they are again get fresh. That is the Nux Vomica. So after exhaustion, they want that small repose, and that's why there is a rubric that quiet wants to be desires repose and tranquility. Nux is one of the remedies. There are 4 remedies, out of which one is Nux, and they want that quietness. At that time, they don't want to get disturbed by anyone. That's why it is there in the rubric, quiet wants to be and desires repose and tranquility. But repose means only for small time. It is not big rest Nux likes. Nux cannot take a big rest. That is the problem with the Nux. They never takes a big rest. Even on the Sundays, holiday, they cannot sleep for longer time of duration. They wakes at their own time, and if they never get a, if they consider that they will enjoy today, they will not work, and the only word that comes out from their mouth, they are getting bored and bored, because they are workaholic personalities, industrious personalities. They want to do a work and brainy work, and if they never get that brainy work, they are quite getting bored, and that is the state of the nux with which they comes. They are very active, very ardent, very irascible, very sensitive, and wants to do many things at a time. They are interested in quite a number of things, and they try to achieve that by any means, by hook or crook. They runs behind that, and that's the state of a nux with which nux comes to you. So nux you can catch very easily. The persons who suffers from such types of gastritis, which I have told you, there are many persons who used to get the same gastritis because of night watching. And when you ask why, what do you do at night? They say, no, I used to search on net regarding my study, regarding my goal, regarding my thoughts, and they goes on finding it out and chatting and doing all things at night, whole night, and for that purpose, for they want the stimulants, they want coffee, they want tea, they want smoking, they want tobacco, all those stimulants which are needed for them. That is the state of Nux Vomica with which they approach it. So gastritis, first important remedy. Second important indication with which patients are coming to you in day-to-day life, they are the constipations problems. So many patients come to you with constipation, and you find it out that they are the people who used to be a sedentary workers, bank workers, those who used to do a computer work continuously sitting in one place and not doing at all any physical work, even not even exercises. If you ask them to go for exercise, there is only one answer: I don't have time. Then you better tell them, then suffer. That is the only thing, that is the only answer you can give. Because these are the things they have borrowed themselves. Next persons borrows their all the problems, and constipation is very typical. Patient says only one thing: they have unsatisfactory stools. Doctor, there is no timings. I used to get 5 times, 6 times a day, and I never get satisfied. Every time there is feeling that it has not fully passed. This is the problem with Nux Vomica, and because of which the answers with one more thing, because of which I'm not feeling well. That is their another theory, that you give me a remedy. Once I'm able to pass my stools normally, I will be okay. That is their thing, and that's why Nux is good complemented with the sulfur, because the sulfur comes in theorizing. That is a big complementary for the Nux. So here, these are the things with which patient approaches. There is no absolute constipation or obstinate constipation in Nux Vomica. They are the persons where constipation with urging with which they approaches in your OPD. So that is second important thing for which Nux Vomica is generally comes to your OPD. GI features very important. Third important thing I will going to share with you. It was again when I have not started this clinic, when I was working with my father, and my clinic was there in his hospital only. And there was one patient who was admitted by one physician, and he was having a jaundice, and he was not tolerating anything by mouth. He was not tolerating whatever is put, he used to vomit it. And he was not, he got so irritable because of that. What is the use of your medicine? They are not working and everything. And he was continuously on IV fluid since last 8 days, and nothing was working. So that physician told me, Prasad, can you give something to this fellow, homeopathic remedy? I was very happy, right? Because MD man has asked me to give medicine when I was very youngster. and he was alcoholic basically. That he was having that problem, alcoholic jaundice, alcoholic liver problem, and alcoholic jaundice was there. So I looked toward that fellow. I was observing him, and he has got so much severe nausea that whenever he used to look toward the food, he used to see, he immediately changes his changes his face to the another side, and that was the thing with which he was. What was I observed? I asked only one thing to him. Asked, uh, how many times do you get the pass the stools? And he said that, "Sir, I'm trying a lot, but I'm not able to pass. Every time I used to go to toilet, I used to pass very small stools. And since last 8 days, I used to go for toilet for 6 to 7 times a day, and I'm not getting it satisfied." And he was a lawyer, and he said, "I'm really, doctor, I'm fed up because of this. Absolutely. And I know that I have borrowed my disorder because of my alcohol. I know that, but what is the use now?" He was 35, 36. So I said, "I will give one dose of medicine." And he said, "Don't give me anything inside mouth which will cause me a trouble." I said, "I will put only one drop of medicine, nothing more than that." And he said, he agreed. Yes, one drop, he agreed. I put a one drop of Nux Vomica in his mouth, on his tongue, just a Nux Vomica 30. And I asked him nothing to be taken for another half an hour. And let us see what happened. It was night time. I have given him a dose at around 9:30. And I asked him nothing to be taken by mouth. He said, "No, I will not going to take because I don't have an interest, or I don't have want to eat anything. Nausea is so severe." So I put a drop and I went away. What has happened when I next day morning when I went over there to see him, the things were rather changed. He asked me, "Doctor, give me that medicine which you have given yesterday. Everything has changed." I asked, "What has changed?" He said, "Do you know? I felt so hungry at night. I wake up at 11 o'clock. I found what is there in the room. I got many apples over there, and someone has brought bananas over there. Nearly about 2 apples I ate at night, and I felt not at all nauseated, and I felt very energetic in the morning. I felt I slept whole night after consuming that, and just now, half an hour back, I woke up." And he was absolutely fresh with the one dose of Nux Vomica, which changed his complete attitude. So see, this remedy is a wonderful remedy. In specifically jaundice, alcoholic jaundice, first think of Nux Vomica than other remedies. Nux Vomica is very wonderful remedy in such types of cases. Another thing where you can use this remedy in the morning sickness. Very important remedy in morning sickness. It used to work in morning sickness. First remedy, because that nausea generally disappears with Nux Vomica very early than other remedies. There is one more remedy which I used to utilize many a times, is Symphorecarpus racemose. It is a remedy which is very useful in morning sickness. Symphorecarpus. In boric, it has been given very small remedy, but I have utilized it in my practice many a times. Symphorecarpus racemose. But Nux, first drug, very important because it removes that acid sensation inside the mouth, and that this remedy definitely works. So I can share many more cases for Nux Vomica. Instead of that, we'll go into the alens and let us see. We'll learn few things today's lecture regarding Nux Vomica. First, it is a poison, so it is named is poison nut, common name, and family is Loganiaceae. See, first paragraph, in fact, first few paragraphs have mentioned the whole constitution of the Nux Vomica. And first sentence where he has mentioned adapted to the theme. They are thin personalities. They are not at all big personalities. They are thin, irritable. Second important thing. Every word you must catch. Irritable. So Nux will not a calm person who comes to you and you give the Nux Vomica. Not at all. Chamomilla, Nux Vomica, Coffea. These are the personalities which are very irritable, active, sensitive, careful. Yes, very important. Careful. He's careful doing the things. Jealous. Jealous means Utsai, ardent, wants to do many things, very interested. Jealous person with dark hair. Dark hair. This is very important. The color of the hairs is dark. And there is second paragraph, last line in bracket. It has been written: persons with light hair, blue eyes, lobelia. That actually that column should be here. That comparison should be here. It is wrongly printed over there. It should be over there. Dark hair in bracket. Persons with light hair, blue eyes is lobelia. If you open the lobelia, you'll find that first sentence of lobelia. Lobelia, it is there. See the lobelia, what he says. Best adapted to the persons of light hair, blue eyes, fair complexion, inclined to be fleshy. Exactly opposite to the Naxumi. So this is the way we used to recollect the materia medica when we compare the things. You compare it. First sentence only you compare. And so when I was reading, I have found that this has been written in wrong way in the comparison. It should be here, actually over here. So dark hair and bilious and sanguine temperament. But that's all. That will finish today's lecture only. Bilious temperament. What is the bilious temperament? In Marathi, we call it Pitta Prakriti, Pitta Pravrutti, bilious. Sanguine means bloody. And there is a third temperament which is also applicable to the Nux Vomica is nervous temperament. All three comes in Nux Vomica. Bilious because these are the persons they they used to get a severe irritability on triple things. They don't want to get disturbed. And they used to a brainy worker they they used to produce more severe acid in their stomach because of their continuous thinking process. These are the persons who never do hard work. They used to do only sedentary work, and once they sit in one place, they are continuously using their brains, and when they feel little bit drowsy, dull, they want a stimulant. They take some stimulants, coffee, tea, etc., and then their mind becomes irritable. They becomes their stomach is full of acid at that time, and that acid reflects on their face. My suggestion is that if you want to see the bilious temperaments, sanguine temperament, nervous temperament people, go to the bank at the closing time and meet them. That's, just tell them that I want to put money in your bank and see their faces. Their faces are typical of the all those three temperaments. This is very typical with the Nux. This is bilious temperament. Their face becomes absolutely irritable, angry at that time. So bilious temperament is like that. Bloody, sanguine is bloody. They are very irritable, very angry. At the same time, very ardent also. Because of full of blood, they are very active. Nux are very active personality. So see, these are the things which we have to catch. Nux will not a person who comes to you and the big person who is fully loaded and having a hefty constitution and he comes slowly. Not at all Nux. Don't think of giving the Nux to that fellow. So see, every word which you have to catch over there, that how Nux will going to present. Nux personalities are the personalities which who walks very fast, talks very fast, eats very fast. These are the things which goes on in Nux. Disposed to be quarrelsome, that is their nature. You talk to them something and they are on their tip of nerves to fight with you. They are the people who tries to catch you everywhere. They are the person who used to catch you at every word, whatever you say. This is very typical. So, disposed to be quarrelsome, spiteful. Spiteful means malicious, spiteful, vindictive. They never forget what has happened with them and they are vindictive. They keep that in mind and they tell their memory regarding those things is very good. They never forget for 10 years back whatever has happened. So spiteful, malicious, nervous and melancholy. Here nervous means not nervous, Marathi nervous. It is nervous means very active on the tip of their nerves, reacting so fast, nervous. So see, these are the things which you have to catch, and at the same time, melancholy. Melancholy is the last thing. Melancholy never happens early in Nux state. Melancholy is the state when their ambition is deceived, they goes into the melancholy state, but after some time they again wakes up and goes for it. It never remains for longer time of duration in Nux Vomica person. It remains only for some time in Nux. That is very important. Nux is they get melancholic, sad, but it is only when their ambition or their goal is disturbed because of some reason, then they becomes melancholy. So this is very important thing which you have to understand. There were certain questions. If a person is taking pentop regularly, can Nux Vomica replace it? If patient is Nux, it definitely replaces. First, you have to understand who is Nux. If patient is Nux means this is what we have to catch. We have read only two sentences, but we have understood many aspects of Nux in that sentences. This is the Nux state with which Nux is approaching you. Can sometimes depression makes Nux lazy? Definitely for some time, not permanently. Nux cannot become lazy forever. Nux remains lazy for very short period. Whenever their ambition is disturbed because of some reason, they don't want to, they becomes indifferent for some time, but they again comes out. That is very important thing which you have to catch over there. So these are the things which we have to learn. We have learned only one paragraph of the Nux Vomica today. Tomorrow we'll continue with it with few more cases. I will going to share. It will. I think this remedy will require 3-4 lectures to be finished because there are many things with which Nux Vomica meets us. So we have to learn all the different aspects behind the Nux. Sir, philosophy lecture, how to attend? Join with the same ID at 5:45 daily. Same password ID 5:45 daily. No, philosophy lectures, and it is there already uploaded on the YouTube previous lectures. So that's all for today. We'll finish today over here on this point, and tomorrow we'll continue with it. If there are any questions, we can have a chat. Otherwise, we'll conclude. Any queries? So thanks a lot being there. Tomorrow we'll meet and we'll continue with the Nux. Nux is a wonderful remedy to be learned. So we'll have many lectures on Nux. Okay. Thank you. Bye. Good night.